Good morning. Welcome to Kindness Rising, your morning dose of hope, humanity, and heart, where we have more high fives for you and less rage bait. Welcome in, Jess. Good morning. Happy Monday to you. I got a question for you and anybody else who was out there listening. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately known the rules? Nobody explained them. Nobody handed you a handbook. There wasn't a sign on the wall that said, "Don't disagree with Steve." You just somehow knew that Steve was someone you did not want to disagree with. You figure out pretty quickly who talks and who doesn't, whose ideas really matter, who can make a joke and who can't make a joke, and apparently which chair that Gary has claimed since 2007. We have a phrase for this. We say, read the room, and we're remarkably good at it. But here's a question I don't think we ask nearly enough. If everybody is reading the room, who is writing the room? Good morning, friends. Welcome to Kindness Rising. And this week, we're going to build the room. Yes, Jess, that is true. For sure. For sure. Welcome in on a Monday morning to Kindness Rising. What a wild weekend it was for me here. I hope you guys had a good time. Sully, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. Hope you had a good weekend, too. We had quite a wild time at our house, for sure. It was the kids, I think I told you this was their 21st birthday on Wednesday, and it was a party weekend for them in particular. Few nights of picking up kids and late at night, and good morning, Mom. Had a wonderful celebration with my mother last night and my in-laws throughout the weekend. Yes. Jess, Patty's birthday was this weekend. Okay. I haven't seen much of her. Is she she singing and doing new things out online? Yep. Oh, a 21st birthday, or a classic car show. Nice. What did you see, Sully? Did you see something good? What was your favorite car? All right, let's get into it. Let's get going here. And we ended last week talking about Bill Graham. Remember Bill Graham, one of the legendary concert performers of the 20th century, who spent most of his career creating spaces for musicians. The musicians mattered, the sound mattered, the lights mattered, and the audience mattered. But Graham seemed to understand something else, that the room matters. Because great performances don't happen in a vacuum. Something has to exist around them, an environment, a culture. A feeling that says you can try something here, you can stretch it a little or take a chance. And that's just not true for musicians. It's true for all of us. Because every day we walk into rooms, conference rooms, classrooms, break rooms, living rooms, locker rooms, and Zoom rooms. And yes, even this strange little live stream internet room. And every one of those rooms has rules. Some of them are obvious, but most of them aren't. Maybe you work for a company that says we encourage new ideas. Well, that's wonderful. Then somebody actually brings a new idea and everybody stares at them like they suggested replacing the accounting department with raccoons. Lesson learned, don't bring new ideas. Maybe the organization said we want open communication. Then somebody disagreed with the boss and suddenly the air conditioning felt about 14 degrees colder. Lesson learned, don't disagree with the boss. Maybe leadership said we believe mistakes are opportunities to learn. And then somebody makes a mistake and it becomes the opening act of the Monday morning execution. Lesson learned. Don't make mistakes, or at least don't let anybody find out. And that's how rooms get built, not through value statements, not through inspirational posters, through tiny little moments. Who gets rewarded? Who gets ignored? Who gets punished or interrupted? What happens when somebody says, I don't know, or I need help, or I think we're wrong? People notice, and then eventually they figure out the rules. Which means culture isn't something we announce, it's something that everybody experiences. And here's the part that's important. If you're a leader, a parent, a teacher, a coach, a friend, simply somebody whose presence influences others, you're building the room. Whether you're intending to or not, people are watching. They're asking a question they may never have said out loud. What happens to people like me in this room? Can I ask a question? Can I laugh? Can I be honest? Can my ideas be unfinished? Because before somebody takes a risk, they read the room. And before somebody tells you the truth, they read the room. And before somebody shares the strange idea that might eventually become the brilliant idea, they read the room. So this week I want to move our conversation outward. We spent a lot of time talking about how we show up or how you show up. Now let's ask, what are we creating for everybody else when we do? Because extraordinary people don't only need extraordinary leaders, they need extraordinary rooms. And that brings us to our first Who in the World? In-house concerts in the morning, Jess. That's awesome. Cool. That should be recorded. You should be going live. All right. Let's move on to our Who in the World. Every day here on Kindness Rising, we bring you three clues to guess who we're talking about, a person who reflects the subject or is important to us. And here is your first clue today. A media mogul built a pressure-filled room that produced massive creative output for 50 plus years. He created a room that produced massive creative output for 50 plus years. Hello, Brielvich. I don't know how to say your name, but I am glad you're here. And Jerry Ginger in the house. Jerry, good to see you over the weekend on the line too, online. All right, let's do Wait That Happened. We talked about our Who's Who. We're getting back into the swing of things after past 5 weeks without Annette. Yep, we're getting back to our regularly scheduled and planned program. And we'll do a Wait That Happened, August 10th. August 10th is today. Holy crow. The year is flying by. August 10th, 1846. We're taking it back. Oh, what's that? Help me out, math people. 180 years ago? Oy. President James K. Polk signed legislation establishing the Smithsonian Institution. And the story behind it is wonderful, and I didn't know this until I started looking at it. British scientist named James Smithson, do we know this? He died in 1829. He had never visited the United States, but in his will, he left his entire fortune to the U.S. to establish an institution in Washington devoted to the increase and diffusion of knowledge. Pretty simple. Think about it. Someone who says, take what I have and build a place where people can discover things, learn things, preserve things, and then share those things with everybody else. That's a pretty remarkable legacy, if you ask me. It connects beautifully to what we're talking about today, because sometimes your greatest contribution isn't the answer you personally discover. Sometimes it's creating a place where somebody else can discover the answer. Maybe that's the great question of leadership. Not how much do I know, but what have I built that allows other people to know more? And that's what the Smithsonian Institute does. August 10th, 1846, the Smithsonian Institute. That happened today. Absolutely. Paul, what's up? Welcome in. I am freaking-tastic. I am good. Yeah, I am good. I don't know what a Q&A, Q&A, question and answers. I do AMAs all the time. Ask me anything. This is a channel where we are open books. We are interested in knowing what you're up to. We get up every single morning with more hope, humanity, and heart to get it going. Clive Davis is a great guest. Great guest, Clive Davis. Yes, he did sign Janice and a bunch of others, but it is not the answer we're looking for today. Hey, Romeo Edit, welcome. Yo, Joe. Welcome into Kindness Rising. Come join the channel, subscribe, get involved in the chat. Today we're talking about how we are building rooms for other people, creating places where people can feel safe. And this is one place. Kindness Rising is a psychologically safe place, a place where you can come every single morning. Get up and get after it with us. Meet some amazing people like Jerry Ginger and Mike Sullivan and Jess and Roseanne and the crew that joins us every single morning on Mornings in the Lab Network at Kindness Rising. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate you. Keep coming back. Come hang out with us, sub up, and enjoy Kindness Rising, your morning dose of hope, humanity, and heart. So let's talk a little bit more about organizational culture. Get this. Change up the tunes. Let's get a new tune going. New tune. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you. Let's talk about organizational culture and a major thinker in this field, an MIT professor named Edgar Schein. Schein described culture in layers. There are visible things you can see, and then there's things that the organization says it believes, and underneath those, that's the deeper assumptions people gradually learn about how things really work. The deeper assumptions people gradually learn about how things work, which sounds academic, but let's translate it. Here's my version. Every organization has two sets of rules. The rules somebody writes down, policy manuals, handbooks, documents, whatever. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate you. Come on and support. Absolutely. The things that organization says it believes and those that are underneath it. There's those rules that we write down. And then there's the rules that everybody actually follows. Frequently not the same rules. Maybe the website says we value collaboration, but everybody knows the fastest way to get promoted is to make sure that the boss thinks every idea is yours. There's the real rule. Maybe the handbook says we encourage employees to speak up, but everybody watched what happened to Kevin. Kevin spoke up. We don't talk about Kevin anymore. That's the real rule. Maybe the conference room wall says innovation. Great, but when every new idea needs 14 approvals, 3 committees, a feasibility study, and apparently a note from your mother, that's not creating a room where innovation is promoted. The real rule is get through all this red tape. People don't need long to figure these things out because human beings are incredible observers. We watch what happens to other people and then we adjust our behavior. And that's why I think this matters so much. A leader can give 100 speeches about culture, but one moment can teach the room more than all those 100 speeches. Someone admits a mistake. What happens next? Someone questions your idea as a leader. What happens next? Someone says, I don't understand. What happens next? What happens next is how the room is built. The room is learning by what you do. And once people learn the unwritten rules, then they start protecting themselves. They stop asking and experimenting and even caring. Not because they've suddenly become different people, but because they've learned how to survive in the room. And that brings us back to one of the things I've said throughout Without a Net. Psychological safety isn't a poster on the wall. It's what happens when someone tells the truth. And today I'll add another one. Culture is what happened when the leader isn't what happens when the leader announces. It's what happens when the room repeatedly demonstrates. That's the research corner. Research corner today. Thank you so much. I was thinking about the Smithsonian, and I lived in D.C. for 10 years, so certainly I spent a lot of time in those museums. But I'm curious, who else has spent time in the Smithsonian? What Institute museums? What did you remember about it? What was cool? You have any experiences or other museums? I like to talk about that kind of stuff. I've been in some pretty amazing ones, some of the biggest in the world. Of course, if you go to New York, you've got lots of opportunities there. I will tell you probably for me, the most impactful, I guess, from an art perspective at least, wasn't the Louvre. Everyone says the Louvre, the Louvre, the Louvre. Well, I went there. I spent an entire day walking around doing stuff. I could probably spend lots more time. But actually the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, Italy, to me, is the most spectacular museum I've been in. Art museum, at least for sure. Amazing, amazing. All right, let's get to our second clue. Enough talking about my museum experiences. Let's get our clue. Get a clue. First clue. The media mogul who built a pressure-filled room that produced massive creative output for 50 plus years. Let's see if the second clue gets us closer, team. In his room, failure is not unusual, and bad ideas are actually a welcome part of the process. All right. 50 years of bad ideas, good ideas, cultural impact. We will get to it for sure. All right. Wow. Okay. Free time. It's playtime. I asked about museums. Anybody got anything? Ted Turner, another good guess, but not it. Jess, let's see. Blue and Logan, welcome to Kindness Rising. Jess, you told me you danced, but I didn't realize it was clogging. Is it you're a clogger? That's interesting. Why don't you record it? Put it out there for us to see. Or better yet, hit the live button and clog live. Absolutely. Do you make your own clogs? I'm just curious. I've seen clogging before, but I don't really know anything about the clogging culture. Why don't you tell us more? You are a certified clogger. Oh, Jess, I'm even more curious. And you do clog live. Okay, I'll have to find it. Live on stage in front of people, but what about live recorded? The shoes are called buck taps. See? We're learning together. Buck taps. All right. All right. See, I love this. I love this. Learning. You got fast feet. Is that what it's about? About speed and balance? I don't know. Oh, yeah, Hayden Planetarium. Yep. The Gorgeous Redhead. I don't know the Gorgeous Redhead. I don't know. Robert Downey Jr., the pickup artist. I don't know. I don't remember that. But I know Hayden Planetarium. It's like that's the big one in LA, right? A lot of movies start. Molly Ringwald. Yeah. Okay. A lot of movies start with an aerial view to set the tone, right, of either the Hollywood sign or the Hayden Planetarium coming in, right? It's an iconic building. Have you been there, Sully, to the planetarium? Join your museum. Most memberships allows you to visit. See that? Now we are really, really getting into it. Community. Roseanne, Mom, great suggestion. Join a museum. Yep. If you have got the resources to join, a lot of times you get a lot of extra perks with those things. I agree, Mom. All right. Interview with a Vampire. Oh, Jess, starting like that opening scene, right? So it sets up the location. I love it. It's a big part of films, right? That opening. Okay, where are we right now? What are we talking about? What century is it? Where? Absolutely. All right, let's get to the compass. Oh, no, wait. I got to do the third clue. Ooh. They have a Pink Floyd light show. I would check that out for sure. All right, let's get our final clue. I've been doing without a net for the past 5 weeks with you guys, and I filled that content up. I'm not quite fully back, so we're going to have a little bit of free time today. That's all right. We can talk about anything you guys want to. This is where we fill our time when we're live. Yakety yakking. All right, let's get to our clues. I think the last clue is going to clinch it for you for sure. A media mogul who built a pressure-filled room that produced massive creative output for 50 years. Failure is not unusual, and bad ideas are actually a welcome part of the process. And here's the clincher. One night, one audience, no retakes, live from New York. Who created that room? Let's get to our compass. Yep. Today's compass is pretty simple. Read the room. Don't change anything today. Don't launch a cultural initiative. And don't schedule a 4-hour strategic retreat entitled Building Our New Cultural Paradigm. Nobody deserves that. Just observe. Walk into one of the rooms you'll influence today and pay attention. Who talks? Who doesn't? Who's getting listened to? What happens when somebody disagrees? What happens when somebody doesn't know or when somebody makes a massive mistake? Then ask the harder question. What are people learning from me? When somebody brings me bad news, what does my face teach them? When somebody challenges me, what does my response teach them? When somebody needs help, what does my reaction teach them? Because here's the sneaky thing about leadership. We're teaching even when we don't realize we're teaching. People are reading the room, and if we're leaders, we're helping to write it. So today, just notice. Read the room. Thank you all. Thank you. Mike Sullivan in the house with Lorne Michaels. It's not Johnny Carson, Mom. It's Lorne Michaels. Lorne Michaels, the creator and producer of Saturday Night Live. Yep. He was born in Toronto and built a television institution that has endured generations for performers and writers. And think about what Saturday Night Live, the team, actually asks those people to do when you join Saturday, when you are selected. You walk into a room with ideas on Monday. By Tuesday, you start figuring out which ones have life. Write, rewrite, pitch, rehearse, throw things away, try again, build sets, create costumes. Bring in a host who may never have done sketch comedy before. And then Saturday night, the red light comes on live from New York. And there's nowhere left to hide. That's an extraordinary creative environment for sure. And we know that some sketches work and some don't. Some of those characters become cultural icons and some disappear before dress rehearsal. But the rooms keep creating. And that's what interests me about Lorne Michaels for today's conversation. He does not eliminate uncertainty. He creates a structure where people can operate effectively inside. He doesn't guarantee that every idea will work. Nobody can. But he built a place where people could keep bringing ideas anyway. And 50 years later, that room keeps producing. That's leadership worth studying for sure. That is Lorne Michaels. Lorne Michaels. Oh, yes, Sully. The Coneheads movie. Yes. Yeah, I mean, think about, we could talk about Saturday Night Live for a few minutes, right? Think about 50 years, 1976, 75. John Belushi, Chevy Chase. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on of those people who achieved fame because of the room that Lorne Michaels built and the chances that he gave people. And sure, some of them were failures. And he knows that too. Yep. All right. Well, we're done with the content a little bit early. Anything anybody else wants to talk about? Here we go. Here it is. Open floor. I'm opening the floor to you to talk about something. We're going to talk about building the room all week long. We're going to get into some other fun topics and stuff and stay with us. There's stuff that you guys want to talk about that I'm not talking about. I'd love to hear that feedback. Trying to grab something real quick. Okay. Not helping me here. That's all right. Everybody loves. How about a little music so we don't have absolute silence for the moment? No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys coming out and sticking with me when I've got a little bit of dead air, dead space. That's okay. But seriously, reminds me of what we're doing right here, building a room, right? In Mornings in the Lab Network. That's the whole point. Building the room where people can express themselves freely and support them in that. That's what we're doing here in the Mornings in the Lab Network. All right. All right, I love that question. Here it is. Do I think it's a good idea to join the Honor Society at university? I say if you qualify, which I bet you do, yes. I think it's worth it. I don't know, what does it cost? I am graduated with honors society, in an honor society. My daughter graduated with an honor society. It's a nice perk to have. It definitely helps you to stand out. Yeah, they sent you an invitation. I will tell you this about the invitations, because I've had enough college experience of late. There are a lot of one-time fee of $90. That's not terrible. There are lots of these honor society organizations. Make sure it's a legitimate one is what I would say. And I would also say there are usually honor societies and opportunities right in your field. So if you can do a field specific one, then then that will really help you to excel. In Midtown. Yep. You saw the Blue Band group in Midtown Manhattan on the street? Where did you see them? Oh yeah, I understand that. And online classes, it's hard to interact, right? That's the disadvantage. You can find ways though. Absolutely. Oh, it definitely is. Those honor societies and things, if you get involved in them, that's the key. You can join, you can pay your $90 and get your certificate and have your certificate and show it on your resume, like Sully suggested and I suggested too. But just like everything else, it's what you do with it, how you get involved, how you leverage it, have those fearless connections. We're still high on pot. We laughed at them and got kicked out. Sully. Well, you know what? That's just the way. That is just the way it works. I can imagine that it was funny to you at that point. But they certainly had the last laugh, I'd say, right? All right. Well, thanks for joining me and sticking around for this open chat time here on Kindness Rising. I am going to bring it to a close so that we can get on over to Mornings in the Lab. Let's weave our thread today. Every room has rules. Some are written and most aren't, but people learn them anyway. They learn them by watching. Oh, what am I doing here? Oh boy. They learn them by watching. They do. I'm trying to get that comment over there. Yeah, they learn by watching what gets rewarded or punished or ignored and celebrated. And especially what happens when someone takes a chance. Bill Graham understood that for the Grateful Dead, and that was part of the performance, that the room is a part of the performance. Lorne Michaels built a creative environment that's kept producing for generations, and James Smithson left behind the resources to build a place where knowledge could keep growing long after he was gone. Different rooms, different missions, but the same idea. Creating the conditions where extraordinary things can happen because other people are there. So maybe the leadership question isn't simply what kind of leader I am. Maybe it's what kind of room do people experience around me? Because extraordinary people don't need extraordinary leaders only. They need the extraordinary rooms. And this week we're going to learn how to build one. I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, an uncommon Monday. Come on back tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, where we will be here for Kindness Rising. And as always, stay uncommon and stay kind.